Dead about an hour, I'd say. Maybe more.
How old was she?
26, 27.
Ursula Elizabeth Gray, age 22. Special peculiarities. Large birthmark on right shoulder blade. You notice it?
You've got that picture there. What more do you want?
I want to know who shot her. I want it to stop raining, and I want that blasted dog to shut up.
I wish you luck.
Yeah.
What a night to get shot.
Saunders? Oh, don't do that. You look horrible. Find anything?
He got in through here, all right. The plants are all trampled down. But the rain's washed away all the footprints.
Well, at least somebody's lucky with the weather.
I found this. It's one of those ballpoint things.
Oh, that's great. There are only about 1 million of these. You better come on in.
I've covered everything, Chief. I'll get these back.
See what you can do with that, will you?
All right, Chief?
Yeah, go on. Get on home.
Good night.
Good night.
I wonder why. Why was she moved?
Something in the cupboard. He wanted to get at the cupboard. She fell across the door. He had to move her. But what was it?
Who was he? Well, whoever he was, if I may make an amazing deduction, he was obviously looking for something.
And found it. Which is more than we have. All right to take it now, sir.
Good.
Well, no joy. No prints anywhere else either. That's about my lot. Good hunting, Chief.
All right.
All clear in there now, sir.
Wish it was.
She must have been a fashion model.
Well, we're doing well. We know her name. We know she was a model, and that's all. There's no evidence of family, no letters, no nothing.
I'll check with the magazine and see if this other girl knew anything about her.
Yeah. Yeah, ferret that, will you? 3 lipsticks. Hotel Clarence.
4 onces, 2 fivers. A membership card to Blakeney's.
Blakeney's.
They play for real money there.
Yeah.
Funny, isn't it? We used to be very hot on places like that.
A lot of people buy diaries if they don't intend to use them. Oh. Miss Ursula Gray had lunch this very day with someone called P. I'll get this lot down to the yard for what it's worth.
Right.
Saunders.
Huh?
You're busted.
It was all right a minute ago. What a dull place to put a gun.
Well done. I don't know why I didn't take it with him.
Perhaps it wasn't his.
Well, we got the body and we got the weapon. All we need now is a motive and a killer. Come on, it's 2:30.
Excuse me, sir.
What's the matter with you, Jackson?
It's David Dane. The one on the telly, sir. He's just outside. Says he lives here.
Well, you'd better wheel him in, then.
Inspector will see you now, sir. I just can't believe it. What happened? Was she really shot?
I'm Chief Inspector Birkett. This is Sergeant Saunders. Who are you?
I take it you don't watch television, Inspector. The name's Dane. David Dane. I live upstairs.
Oh, then it's your dog that's kicking up all that racket.
Yes, it is. I say they have ransacked this place, haven't they? Or did you do it? I'm sorry, Inspector. I didn't mean to.
That's all right, Mr. Dane. We're not quite as untidy as this.
You mean she was robbed as well?
Looks like it.
Have you any idea what they were after?
Have you?
No. Could Could we continue upstairs, Inspector? She really won't stop until I go up to her.
And let's, by all means.
I'll lead the way.
Jackson,
Yes, sir?
That's David Dane, the famous television actor.
So what's your step?
Now, be a good girl, Snooky. Now, Snooky, behave. Snooky, will you behave yourself? Snooky, be quiet. They're very nice policemen. They won't do you any harm. Snooky, will you be quiet? These people are my friends. Shut up. There, Inspector. She recognizes the voice of authority. Now, let me get you a little drink.
not for us, thanks just the same.
Well, you stick to the rules even on a night like this. I say that's frightfully good.
Now, Mr. Dane, what can you tell us about Ursula Gray?
Very little, I fear, Inspector. I know she did some photographic modeling. Oh, do sit down, won't you?
You know anything about her family? Mother, father, brothers, sisters?
Not a thing, Inspector. Snooky, will you get down? Quite honestly, she never struck me as having any, well, family ties.
How long have you been neighbors?
Oh, about a year, I suppose. Oh, will you sit down, Mr.
Sergeant Saunders. He has a natural talent for keeping on the move. In the course of a year, you must have seen quite a lot of Miss Gray. After all, it isn't a very big house, is it? Just the 2 flats?
That's all. Of course, I invited her to a few parties. It's the only way to avoid those complaints about the noise and the music.
Did she come alone?
Oh, Lord, no. She brought various men.
She brought various men to parties at which you were the host. I find it very difficult to believe that you didn't know some of their names.
Well, I didn't. And I doubt if she did. Quite honestly, Inspector, I really don't know nothing about this poor girl that could possibly help you.
I see.
Oh, those are just tapes of my shows. Sound recordings, I mean.
What were you doing tonight, Mr. Dane?
My show, Inspector.
Oh, yes.
I went to the studios for rehearsals at about 5. I was on from 9:30 to 10:30. Here I am. You can check with the studio, of course.
By the way, Mr. Dane, we found this outside. Is it yours?
I use one of these. So sorry, Inspector, I wasn't more help to you.
Well, not to worry. We'll be in touch again.
Good night, sir. Don't worry, we'll see ourselves out.
Night, Jackson.
Good night, sir. Good night.
He's got something on his mind.
He wants to know what they were looking for as much as we do.
Yeah, I know. Check with the studios, will you?
Right.
Well, I suppose 1,000,000 women like him, but I don't.
You can never tell with women. My wife likes custard on bread.
Thanks. Good night.
Night.
What are you doing in here? You haven't had a row with Mother or anything, have you?
No, my darling daughter, I just happened
Well,
to be
that's
a
all
little
right,
late and... Go on.
Mother, may I borrow your black gloves, please?
If you can find them. Good Lord.
Morning.
Where did you spring from? I thought you'd been out all night.
I nearly was. As you hogged the entire bed, I decided to dust
Excuse
down
me.
in it. Come along, move along, please. Come on, get out of it. I want to shave. I'll take off that silly hat. You look like a sick acorn.
All right. Hey, what do you want for breakfast?
I don't mind.
Morning, Mrs. Birkett.
Good morning.
Bye, Aldous, Hannah. I'll try to get home sometime.
You do that. And try and take care of yourselves, too.
Please may I have a lift to the underground?
Against regulations to carry passengers, isn't it, Saunders?
Oh, it doesn't say anything about daughters, though.
Goodbye, Mother.
Goodbye.
Make way, please. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Clear the pathway, please, ladies. Move along, please.
Oh, you shouldn't say
Good morning, sir.
Morning, Jackson.
Mrs. Gray is here. Hope I did right to let her in.
Mrs. Gray?
Says she's the dead girl's mother. In there, sir.
Mrs. Gray? I'm Chief Inspector Birkett.
How do you do, Inspector?
You saw it in the newspaper. I'm so sorry. It must have been a terrible shock for you. But there was nothing in her belongings that mentioned any next of kin.
I'm quite sure there wasn't, Inspector. Seems such a terrible thing to say now. But you see, Ursula and I were never very close. She had her own life to lead.
It didn't leave much time for her mother.
After all, she was grown up. She was quite entitled to choose.
Yes. When did you last see her?
We met twice during the last year.
Mrs. Gray, I realize you're not in a position to help us very much. But did you know any of her friends? It's most important that we should contact anyone who might have known her.
Only wish I could help, Inspector, but she was always alone when we did meet. And I was the last person she would have confided in, you see.
Yes, I understand. We found the initial P in her diary for lunch yesterday. Does that mean anything to you? I'd like to go home now. I'm sure it won't be necessary to bother you anymore, but might I have your address?
Edith Gray, 10 St. George's Drive, Southwest 3.
I'll have one of our cars drive you home.
Thank you, but a friend drove me here.
Oh?
He's waiting for me.
Oh, good. Goodbye.
They've traced the other girl on the magazine cover.
Oh, that's real sleuthing.
Her name's Barker, Polita Barker.
P for Polita. I like the sound of her very much indeed. Good morning. Chief Inspector Birkett, Sergeant Saunders, CID.
Morning.
Are you Polita Barker?
Yes, I am.
May we come in, please?
Yes, of course. I'm so sorry. Do come in.
Thank you.
Would you like to go through and...
We're calling about Ursula Gray. Have you seen the papers?
Yes. Have you any idea who did it?
Well, we're trying to find out. You had lunch with her yesterday?
Yesterday? No, I didn't.
Oh, well, there was an entry in her diary, lunch with P. I was hoping it was you.
I'm sorry. I was working yesterday. I didn't even have lunch.
We have days like that, too.
Oh, wouldn't you like to sit down?
Thank you very much. Have you known her long?
We were at school together in the country.
Good.
That's not much use either, I'm afraid. You see, she left school and came to London, and I didn't see her for ages. We only met again a few months ago.
You have been working together?
Oh, yes, we have worked quite a lot together recently.
Fine. Well, I want you to tell me all you possibly can about her. Family, friends, background, anything that might help.
I'll do the best I can. Oh, Hammond, this is, dear.
Chief Inspector Birkett, Sergeant Saunders.
This is my husband.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. You've come about Ursula Gray.
Yes, I have. Your wife...
Sit down, won't you?
Thank you.
Now, what can I do for you?
Well, you can tell me everything you know about Ursula Gray.
Just how much help has my wife been so far?
Well, she's told me that they worked together and that they were at school together.
Darling, did you tell him why she left school?
Her mother took her away very suddenly. Some of the girls said she was going to have a baby.
How old was she?
16.
You know who was responsible?
No, I don't.
Since you met her again, has she had any particular boyfriend?
Well,
You could hardly say she had a particular boyfriend, could you? My wife isn't much of a realist, Inspector. It is Inspector, isn't it?
Chief Inspector.
But from what she tells me, Ursula preferred to play the field. And a pretty big field at that.
Did you know her well then, Mr. Barker?
No, Chief Inspector. She was a friend of my wife's.
Mrs. Barker, did Ursula earn much as a model?
She was a freelance, so it would have varied, but she always seemed to have enough.
Enough to be a member of Blakeney's?
I know she went there quite often. Hammond used to see her there, didn't you?
My wife means that I, too, am a member of Blakeney's, but a very irregular one. I can't afford the stakes.
But Ursula could.
You can find some very rich men in Blakeney's. I say, won't you sit down? Or is it just possible that you're interested in my pictures?
I'm interested in everything, sir.
When did you last see her?
She was here last week. She came for a sitting.
Oh, you were doing a picture of her then, were you?
I paint a lot of portraits. I suppose I could give you a complete list of my sitters.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be necessary. Thanks all the same. Not just at the moment. May I see it?
I don't think you can just now. You told me that it hadn't come back from the framers, didn't you?
Excuse me, sir. Was this the painting you were talking about?
Well done. You know, it would be a lot less embarrassing if you'd remember to tell me these little things. I'll put it up for you, Inspector.
You had pretty strong views about it, didn't you?
If you mean that my work is committed, the answer is obviously yes.
Where were you last night, Mr. Barker?
I'm sorry, I was working here.
Were you with him, Mrs. Barker?
I went to the cinema.
What time did you get back?
About 11, I think.
Was your husband at home?
The light was on in here.
Darling, why don't you tell him the truth? Not that it's relevant. We had a domestic disagreement earlier in the evening. Polita left, and when she got back, she went straight up to bed. You probably have similar scenes yourself. If you're married, that is.
I don't think we need trouble you any more today, Mrs. Barker.
Darling, you'll see them out, won't you?
Who's that?
Herbert Roundtree. He's walking out with my daughter. Nice lad. Very handy with clocks.
Hey, what do you think you're doing driving like that?
What the hell's it got to do with you?
It's got a hell of a lot to do with me.
Police. This isn't a police car.
Never mind what this is. Is that your car?
No, I borrowed it from a friend.
Let's see your driving license. Jordan Barker. Motor yacht Giuseppe. Broad Wharf, Rotherhithe.
Jordan, are you in trouble with the law? Has my young mother been... Steady on, Jordan.
What's all the hurry about, anyway? Nothing. I've been at sea all night and I haven't slept. Look, are you going to charge me or not?
Not just now.
Thank you, Chief Inspector. Look, you got a lot of explaining to do.
Interesting family, isn't it? Wish we could hear what they were talking about in there. It'd come in very handy.
Yeah. You better find out who that jag belongs to. Add another to the merry throng.
Time you had some lunch, it's 3:30.
What about you?
I won't bother. They're shut anyway. "23 pages of bump, and what have we got?"
Nothing. Got anything on this yet?
Yes, it was stolen from a Mr. William Lamotte a year ago.
William Lamotte, that rings a bell.
He's the chairman of the Lamotte Slavia shipping lines. Harrison says he's away for the weekend. He'll be back on Monday.
Harrison?
Yes, Harrison. He says he's the butler, but he didn't sound like it. He was as drunk as a skunk.
Well, that's in the fine old tradition. I suppose you picked these matches up in the cocktail bar, but it's worth checking. Have someone go down to the Hotel Clarence to see if anyone remembers of it.
Right.
Lunch with P. Why do women have to be so damn secretive? And this will be a lot of use. Got any jam in yours?
There's a sort of pink stain on the side. Weird game, you know. These things have been lying around the canteen for the last week.
You take that home to a hot lemon.
I can't do that. If I take it home, the missus will never let it out again. Anyway, we've got to have a look round Blakeney's later, haven't we?
Look, you just take it home to bed, and I'll take care of Blakeney's.
But I don't want to miss any of the action.
You won't miss out on anything. It's in a strip club, you know. Go.
What are you doing at home?
Don't get excited. I'm going out again.
I didn't expect to see you for a week. Have you solved it? I got your other shoes back today.
Well, thank God for that. These are killing me.
18 and 6.
Well, they know I'm a policeman.
That's probably it. If you were an actor or something, they'd probably do it for love.
If only I was David Dane.
Oh, no.
Thought you liked him.
Well, it doesn't mean I'd like to be married to him.
I think he'd like to be married to me.
Oh.
Oh, aside from that, he's a pretty nasty piece of work. Where's Lindy?
She's out with that new boyfriend.
Hey?
I don't know his name.
Well, why not? I don't want her going around with any Tom, Dick, or Harry. We ought to know something about him.
Oh, come off it, Mr. Barrett. Lindy's 16, not 6. And some people have a license to enjoy themselves on a Saturday night. Anyway, he's coming to a party, so you can grill him to a turn. If you're here at the time. I must make a note that he's coming. I wonder where we're going to put them all. Here, have you got a pencil?
Pen.
Oh, thanks. These damn things never work. What does TTM 2118 mean?
I don't know. Sounds like a laundromat gone mad. Why?
It just came out of your pen.
TTM 2118. I wonder what the hell. You know, this might be something. You clever old darling. Found at the scene of the crime.
Oh, take it away.
How about some grub? I won't be pushing off again soon.
Oh, you stay where you are. I'll get you some nourishing beef stew on a tray.
Why don't I come in the kitchen with you? You know, the way I used to.
Blakeney's Club. Yes, sir. Certainly, sir. Are you a member, sir?
Chief Inspector Birkett, CID. I'd like to speak to the manager, please.
Oh, you mean the director, sir?
No, I mean the man in charge.
Yes, sir. See if Mr. Herter's free.
Certainly.
Who? Mr. Herter, sir. Mr. Rodney Herter. Can I take your coat, sir? Oh, good evening, Sir Harold. Good evening. Good evening, ma'am. It's still raining outside?
Certainly is.
Thank you.
Excuse me, sir, but unless you actually have a warrant, would you be so kind as to wait outside?
Makes you so bloody sure I'm a policeman.
No offense meant, of course, sir.
Good.
Mr. Herter will see you now, sir. Chief Inspector Birkett, sir.
Good evening, Inspector.
Evening.
Dare I offer you a drink?
Probably, but I daren't accept it.
Very commendable. Won't you sit down?
Mr. Herter, Miss Ursula Gray. Was she a regular member of this club?
Oh, you are on that, are you? Nasty business, wasn't it? Yes, she was a frequent guest.
She come here with anyone in particular?
Well, let us say that she had a number of escorts.
Did they escort her in or find her here and escort her out?
To paraphrase a famous actress, I don't mind what the members do, as long as they don't do it in the club and frighten the players.
How often did Hammond Barker come here?
About twice a week?
Was he one of the escorts?
No, not to my knowledge.
May I see your membership book, please? Presumably your members and guests sign in.
Naturally. Send in the current membership book, would you?
Darling, what are we?
Come now, my dear, not just now. I
now.
am busy with Chief Inspector Birkett of Scotland Yard. I'm sorry about that, Inspector. Gambling and brandy can play havoc with elderly ladies. Give it to the Inspector. Have Madame Laval's car sent round, would you?
Yvonne Laval, of course.
What do you know about her?
She's a very great opera singer.
A former opera singer. She had a throat operation that went wrong. It finished her.
Yes, I know. It was a great tragedy. I was always very sorry I never heard her sing.
Don't tell me you are an opera lover, Inspector.
Policemen are also members of the human race. Jordan Barker's been here twice in the last 10 days as a guest of Ursula Gray.
It's quite possible.
He's not a member.
No.
But you do know him. Well enough to lend him an expensive car.
Inspector, I employ Jordan Barker.
In what capacity?
He has a boat, charter service. Just now, he collects oysters for me from Whitstable. Our members like their oysters fresh.
So do I. Thank you very much indeed.
If I can be of any further help to you, I'm here every night, including last night.
There's a great number of your staff can testify. There we are.
Thank you. Compliments of the house.
Oh, well, I hope it brings me luck.
Good night, Inspector.
Well, you still got my coat? All right.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. How about that, then? Steady. Murdered model's mystery life. Well, some comfort, I suppose. Even the press haven't found anyone who'll tell all so far. There must be quite a lot of gents getting pretty worried, too, I suppose. Their wives might not understand.
You didn't tell me that. Was she a call girl or something?
Well, in that area. Although I think she did the calling.
Yeah, I wonder... Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Tea, how marvelous. Hey.
That's mine.
Oh, it's delicious.
Why can't you get your own?
No feet.
Well, have a nice Sunday. No, I don't know when I'll be back. I may be on my own today. If Saunders isn't any better.
Who's that?
Sam Birkett there, he's giving me a lift.
You've no business going out with a cold like that. Don't expect me to nurse you when you get pneumonia. Slopping about in wet socks. If you'd bought those galoshes like I told you...
Yes, dear.
You in trouble again?
She's a good-hearted woman, but a worrier.
Mine turned up something interesting in that pen last night.
TT M2118. Sounds like a Timbuktu phone number.
Well, at least we know that Jordan Barker was a close friend of Ursula's.
That's the first decent lead we've had.
Yeah.
His brother kept pretty quiet about that.
Yeah, and you know what he thought about her. Well, Jordan's got his boat moored somewhere in Rotherhithe.
I was on to the office earlier. Those matches struck a light at the Clarence Hotel. They remembered Ursula.
Yeah?
She checked in after lunch on Friday as Mrs. P. Brown.
I suppose she was with a Mr. P. Brown, as opposed to Smith or Snodgrass.
Oh, definitely. They took room 405 for what Mr. Brown described as a rest before catching the evening plane to New York. I've never heard it called that before.
Neither have I. Get back your knit. So that's who she had lunch with, Mr. P. Brown. They get a description?
Enough. I've got them doing a built-up picture on him. Snow is at it now.
Good. Well, come on then, you knit.
Ahoy there! Go on, Saunders, try it. It's nautical. Ahoy! Ahoy there! Good morning, I'd like to talk to you.
Nice boat you've got here. Must be pretty fast.
15 knots. I like a boat that pushes along. I learned to appreciate it during my national service.
You must have been very good to get in the Navy.
I was a bloody fool to get out of it. You're not interested in boats, are you?
I have a friend who has a boat. Rather like this, actually. He does charter work. Is that what you do?
I run freight in the winter. Oysters, mainly. Sightseeing trips when I can get them. It's a living.
Oysters. Our Blakeney's one of your customers?
Among others. I have a contract with Rodney Herter.
And sometimes he lends you his car.
He did yesterday, as you obviously know. Come on, let's get out of this cold. Oh, I'm afraid I haven't got any drinks till I get in the stores.
That's all right.
Here, take a few. I suppose I must apologize for my behavior yesterday, but I was a bit upset.
Under the circumstances, I think I'd have felt the same.
You know about Ursula and me, then?
I do, I'm sorry. Was it serious?
I wanted to marry her. She hadn't actually agreed, but I had a good chance.
How'd your brother feel about that?
About what?
You and Ursula, he didn't like it, did he? He wanted you to give her up, didn't he?
You know, Hammond's a lot older than me. We're very close, and in my brother's eyes, nothing's good enough for me. He feels sort of responsible. He even finds me jobs, likes this contract with Blakeney's.
Still, he felt very violently about you and Ursula.
Yes. And we had a hell of a row about it. First we ever had. I didn't hear from him for several days. And then he got me this job collecting stuff from Gravesend.
When was this?
On Friday.
When he got back, she was dead.
Yeah.
You drove up to your brother's place like a maniac. You thought he'd killed her, didn't you?
Well, the trip turned out to be a bit of a wild goose chase. I'd just seen the papers and...
You thought he'd just got you out of the way.
Look, I may have thought that, but I soon found out I was wrong.
How?
I know my brother well enough to know when he's telling the truth. Anyway, he couldn't have done it.
Why not?
Well, he had a car smash that night, didn't he?
Did he?
What's the matter? Didn't he tell you?
No.
Well, he did. I've seen the car. He saw the police about it. You'll be able to check on that, won't you?
Yes, we will.
Yes, and while you're checking on that, you might ask David Dane where he was at the time.
What's David Dane got to do with it?
He was blackmailing Ursula.
Come now, Mr. Barker, isn't that a little bit wild? Mr. Dane is a rich and successful TV thing. Why would he bother with blackmail, let alone murder?
Don't ask me why. He took every penny that she had, including the money that I gave her for medicines.
What medicines?
It doesn't matter. She's dead, isn't she? So it can't matter.
You expect me to believe that Dane was blackmailing the girl you wanted to marry? You didn't know why, and you did nothing about it. You're pretty gutless, aren't you?
I did do something about it. Ursula and I went to see him on Thursday night, and I threatened him.
With the police?
No, with a gun. It scared the daylights out of him. He was holding some sort of recording over her head. He taped a conversation that they'd had, and I got it away from him.
What was on the tape?
I don't know. And I don't want to know. I just wanted her to get it back.
What did you do with the gun?
It was Ursula's. She kept it.
You're not telling me anything, Barker. You made up a string of lies about Dane. Because you know, and I know, that your brother's implicated in this murder. So you just watch it. When did you last see Ursula Gray?
I don't really remember.
Could it have been last Thursday? Did she come here last Thursday with Jordan Barker?
Oh, yes, as a matter of fact, Jordan Barker did try and come crashing in here one evening. He had the wild idea that I was trying to seduce Ursula.
That was a wild idea, I agree. Did he have a gun? He did have a gun, didn't he? Mr. Dane, are you going to answer my questions?
Sorry.
You missed getting that in your guts, and you didn't think it was worth mentioning.
It only becomes a matter for the police when I choose to make it so, and I didn't.
Mr. Dane, I'm investigating a case of murder, and it happened in this house.
Inspector, I have an audience of 10 million people to vouch for me.
They may help to clear you on a murder charge, but I can still get you for blackmail. You were blackmailing Ursula Gray.
Really, Inspector. In my position. Now, why should I want to blackmail a little nympho like that?
Why'd you record a conversation with her on tape?
Ah, that was Jordan Barker's story, wasn't it?
He forced you to give it back to her, so where is it now?
If there had been something, you would have surely found it in her flat, Inspector.
Unless you got there first.
Oh, no. I was in the studios. Wasn't I?
I want a tail put on that character.
I'll see to that, sir.
You any idea where he's gone?
No, I haven't. He said he wouldn't be back till tomorrow.
Mrs. Barker, your husband had a car smash on Friday night. He told me he had been working. What did he tell you?
Car crash?
Yes, what did he tell you?
He said he went to see a friend,
Who was that?
Yvonne Laval.
Does he know who well?
I don't really know. He just said he wanted to paint her portrait.
Well, there's 3 alibis he's got for Friday night, and I don't believe any of them.
He said he went to see Madame Laval.
I expect you know David Dane.
Yes?
Through Ursula.
Yes. I suppose I should have told you about it yesterday.
Yes, you should. Did your husband stop you?
No, I did.
Why?
Polita wanted to come and tell you about Dane yesterday, but I was afraid you'd get the truth out of her. Ursula was a drug addict.
Oh, why the hell didn't you tell us about that before?
Because I loved her. Why should her private misery be plastered all over the papers?
How long's she been taking drugs?
Inspector, Ursula was pregnant at school. She came up to London for an operation, and after that she started taking drugs. She just couldn't stop.
Where'd you get him?
She'd never tell me. And she was trying to give it up. She promised me she'd take a cure.
Oh, these were the medicines you were talking about.
Yes, and Dane took the money. I'm certain that she told him where she got the stuff, and that's how he was blackmailing her. She'd recorded what she said on tape.
He said there wasn't a tape.
But I told you. I got it away from him that night and gave it back to Ursula.
Then either she destroyed it or someone else got it. Ever seen that before?
Oh, yes, it's Hammond. I mean, he's got one just like it.
I don't think he's got it anymore.
Why not?
Your husband had a car crash at 11:45 on the night Ursula was killed. It happened half a mile from her flat, and this was found lying about in the garden. I intend to issue a warrant for the arrest of Hammond Barker.
What for?
For the murder of Ursula Gray. Good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, Inspector. You'd like to come in?
Thank you.
This is Mr. Walbrook, Chief Inspector Birkett.
How do you do, sir?
How do you do?
Sergeant Saunders.
How do you do? Well, I expect you'd like to talk to Mrs. Gray alone, Inspector.
Thank you, sir. I think that might be better.
I'll come back later.
Do sit down, Inspector.
Thank you. Mrs. Gray, I know this is very distressing for you, but we have reason to believe that your daughter took drugs. Did you know about it?
Yes, I did. It was a terrible thing.
Yeah. I understand she became pregnant at school and had an operation.
She must have had one. I've never known for certain.
Surely you knew what happened to her.
I brought her to London, Inspector. But she ran away the day after we arrived. I traced her 3 times and brought her home. But it was useless.
At 16?
At 16, Inspector, she looked 22. And she was without moral scruples of any kind. Perhaps I failed her. Perhaps the loss of her father in the war.
Do you know who's responsible for her pregnancy?
He was the man I was going to marry.
Do you, know where he is now?
He killed himself. You've been very patient, Inspector.
That's all.
And very kind.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank God my girl's too plain to go straight.
I'd shoot Lindy myself if you went that wrong, which you won't. Come on, let's get a move on. I want to see Madame Laval.
I am Miss Klein, Madame's housekeeper. Something has happened to her?
Not so far as we know. When did you last see her?
Not since last evening. She did not come home last night.
Have you been with her long?
For many years. I was her dresser in the theater.
Oh. Has she ever stayed away from home before, without your knowing?
Madame is not very conventional. She does strange things, but that is not my business. She has had much suffering.
Yes, I know about the voice.
You do?
The operation.
Oh, Madame will be very surprised. She feels that she is entirely forgotten.
Well, far from it. I've always been very sorry that I've never heard her sing.
Then you shall hear her. Come with me. This is her salon, her sanctuary. Please?
I think I'll just hang on out here, sir.
Come on, Saunders. It'll do you good.
This is where she locked herself up. Buried in the past. You know, sometimes she would try to sing again. Those were the worst times when she tried to sing. There was nothing left. Nothing. I hate this room. I would like to burn it down. You know, I'm talking about her as though she were dead.
Oh, don't worry, Miss Klein. We've no reason to suppose she's come to any harm. Miss Klein, did Madame Laval take drugs? I have to know the truth.
When the operation on her throat failed, she started to drink. Then she took to drugs. She felt she had nothing left.
Miss Klein, I've got to search this house. I haven't got a warrant. It'll take time to get one. You want me to wait?
No, you do what you have to do. I'm sure you want to help her.
Thank you. All right, Saunders, turn it over.
Excuse me, miss.
Should I get you some tea? Some tea, perhaps.
Oh, that would be very nice, thank you.
She's fond of herself, isn't she? Well, I never.
What are you doing in your spare time?
What spare time?
I think we're getting warmer, Saunders. Laval has a date with Tom Teal on Monday the 21st. That's tomorrow.
There's your TT, then. That must be 6 o'clock. Well, it stands to reason. 21, that's the date. 18 must be the time.
Well done. Well done indeed.
Reefers.
Cocaine.
This Madame Laval's a bit of a hard nut.
A bloody shame.
If these were personal supplies, that'd be one thing. But the old girl's got a lot to answer for with this little lot.
Yes, I'm afraid she has. So's Hammond Barker. That message didn't get into his pen by accident. Get the super on the phone, will you?
I suppose that's stuffed up Mozart's jumper. I use the one in the hall.
Well, thank you very much. Allow me to help you, huh?
Thank you. Do you have milk or lemon?
Milk for me, please. You know who this is?
Oh, yes, that's William Lamotte. Madame has loved him for years.
Thank you. And what about him?
He was devoted to her while she was a big star. I followed her all over the world. And when she was finished,
Do they ever meet now?
sometimes, and then Madame is like a girl again.
Does Madame have many friends, many visitors?
No, not many. Not now. But that poor girl that was murdered, she used to come here.
Ursula Gray?
Yes, she was here the evening before last.
That was the night she was shot. Why didn't you telephone the police?
Well, she came to see Madame. It would have been her place to have told them.
How often did she come here?
Oh, she came every Wednesday.
This was Friday. What happened?
She came about 8 o'clock. I heard her on the telephone. She was arranging to meet someone later.
Oh, Miss Klein, this is very important. Have you any idea who she was talking to?
I think she said Phil or Philippe or something like that.
Phil? When did she leave?
About an hour later.
Thank you, Miss Klein. You've been very helpful.
Mr. Barker, sir?
Oh, yes. Was Hammond Barker here at all that evening?
No, no one else at all.
Well, just one last question, Miss Klein. Do you know anyone called Tom Teal?
No, no one of that name has ever been here.
Well, thank you again. Now, you must let me know the moment Madame Laval returns, or you have any news of her.
Please, may I ask what you thought of her voice?
Well, Miss Klein, it so happens that I'm very fond of opera. I thought it was quite beautiful.
Hello, love.
Hello, Val, darling.
You're home early, comparatively speaking.
Lying out of steam.
You'd be better off on the beat. Less wear and tear on the plant.
I could never stand that helmet.
Come on, love. You're for bed.
Yeah. Saunders.
Carter. Sergeant Carter, sir.
You were tailing Dane?
Yes, sir.
Put your hat on straight.
Yes, sir.
It's a jazz club, sir. I'm afraid we can't stop it.
Some proper light on the scene, for God's sake.
Oh, what happened? I followed Dane here just after 10. He stood at the bar first, seemed very fidgety, kept looking at his watch. Then that Ted came in. He made a beeline for Dane, started needling him. Dane moved over beside the jukebox, where the boys were twisting. The Ted followed and deliberately chucked coffee over him, spoiling for a fight. Dane backed away. I was moving in when the lights went out. Dane screamed, and I heard him fall. That Ted tried to scalpel, but I nailed him.
Who put the lights on?
Well, I wouldn't swear to it, sir, but I had a feeling someone else was in the scrum, apart from Dane and the Ted. And the main switch is in the lavatory back there. There's a big window leads into an alley.
All right, Carter, you did your best. Do you normally let your customers get roughed up by a yob like that?
David Dane came here often enough with some very rough boys. How was I to know that wasn't a friend?
Give me a knife.
I ain't got one.
Is it sticking in his chest?
I never had no knife when I come in here, see?
What'd you do, hold him while someone else stuck it in him?
No, you can't pin nothing on me. I was by the jukebox, so I couldn't have doused the lights now, could I? Clever dick!
Steady. Tell Carter to get this lot down to the station.
Come on.
Not him.
Inspector, this could be very embarrassing for me. If you would take my card.
You know what's going to happen to you, don't you? We'll send you up for murder.
I never done no murder, Gov. There was this bloke in the boozer. He just wanted me to rough Dane up a bit.
How much did he give you?
10 quid. We didn't want no rough stuff. He took my knife away even.
Of course he did, you bloody fool. He wanted to stick it into Dane and then stick you inside for murder. What did he look like?
Oh, he's older than me. Big bloke. Dark hair. I reckon he was a sailor.
Why?
Oh, his hands was tattooed all over.
Sir! They've nicked Dane's keys.
Carter. Take that out and lock it up. Stop mourning. I'm not dead yet.
Come on, son. You get him? No, I'm afraid not. The blunt instrument. Have a look at that.
Oh, not so blunt.
And he knocked off all those tapes. Not a single tape left.
That's just our luck on this one.
Yeah. for medicinal purposes.
Have one yourself.
Cheers.
I think she wants to go out, Saunders.
You didn't tell me a detective was there when it happened.
Oh, no, thanks, love. I'm sorry, I don't want to.
Well, why didn't he do something? Why didn't he stop it? It's all so stupid. Everyone loved him. He was a marvelous actor and a fabulous person.
It wasn't all that fabulous.
Sam.
How do you know?
Look, let's just let it rest, huh?
Are you going to be at my birthday party tomorrow night?
How the hell do I know? Look at that. How do I know where I'm going to be tomorrow night? I've got 2 murders on my hands, 2 more people have disappeared into thin air, and you want to know when I'm going to be home.
According to this, the superintendent's looking after the whole thing himself.
Well, I better go and see how he's getting on.
Oh, dear.
Right, I'll hold on. Morning.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Anything there on Gray or Dane?
No, sir.
Then lose it.
What do you mean, sir?
Give it to Inspector Watson.
Yeah? Right, I'll tell him.
What's that about?
There's a note here about Ursula Gray's funeral tomorrow. And, they've still got that Ted we picked up last night.
Well, tell them to hold on to him tight until we find that sailor character.
Keep him for the moment, will you? Fine. Here's a built-up picture of Ursula's friend. A Mr. P. Brown.
Oh, these built-up pictures never look like anything human. There's something familiar about him, huh?
It could be the assistant commissioner.
Oh, that would be a great line of inquiry, wouldn't it? He's already raving mad about the Dane thing.
My missus was upset about it, too. She went straight back to bed the minute she saw the paper.
Be my home, will you, please? Oh, it's marvelous, isn't it? Every woman in the country crying her eyes out over that one. Yep. Hello, Lindy. Is that bad-tempered man again?
But it was me. I was horrid. And Mother said you'd been knocked out. It must have been aching like anything.
Oh, it's much better now, darling. I promise to be there tomorrow night if I possibly can.
I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Goodbye, darling. Chief Inspector Birkett. I have an appointment with Mr. Lamott.
Inspector Birkett is here. Up on the first floor, sir. Over there.
Will you come this way? Chief Inspector Birkett to see you, Mr. Lamott.
Good morning, Inspector.
Morning.
Will you sit down?
Thank you, Mr. Lamott. Sorry to take up your time like this. It's just a routine inquiry. In your absence, we spoke to your butler.
Our butler?
Harrison.
Oh, yes, Harrison.
He confirmed that you were burgled about a year ago. Amongst other things, a gun was stolen. Is this it?
These things all look alike to me. I imagine you've checked the number, so it must be mine. You've come to return it?
Not exactly, no. This is the weapon that was used in the Ursula Gray killing. Perhaps you've read about it. The girl who was shot a couple of days ago?
Yes. Did you know her?
Of course not. I didn't know of her existence until I saw her name in the paper.
I understand you're acquainted with Madame Laval.
Inspector, I thought you wanted me to identify a gun. I can see no connection between that and my acquaintance with Madame Laval. In any case, it came to an end years ago.
You haven't seen her recently, then?
We might have met by chance once or twice. I really don't remember.
At Blakeney's, perhaps?
I doubt it. I'm not much of a gambling man.
But you are a member.
I belong to a number of clubs, Inspector.
Huh?
It all tallies. Every date in Laval's diary ties up with his shipping arrivals.
Pereslavia.
Arrives this afternoon.
For that, I'll buy you a drink.
They're not open.
I'll chalk it up. Inspector Blackwell, I presume?
Hey!
Good to see you, old Bob. You're putting it on a bit, Uncle.
You can talk. Sergeant Saunders, ex-Sergeant Blackwell.
How are you? There's the Pereslavia. That's young Jordan's lad. I think you're off course about him. No sign of his brother or anyone else. If he is up to anything, he's got a bloody nerve parking himself on my doorstep. He comes over here every day about this time to collect stores from Joe's shop and ring Blakeney's for orders. He's heading for a little slipway up there. I'll show you where you can keep an eye on him while I nip along to Joe's.
Good.
Might pick up something new.
Fine.
I heard most of Jordan's phone call. He's off on a trip tonight. Didn't sound too pleased about it either.
Look, you see that dinghy over there? Well, it came from the direction of the Pereslavia. The bloke switched his oars with the ones in Jordan's dinghy. Got a man to follow him? I wonder what's so special about those oars.
I suppose there could be something inside them.
Well, I'd holler they'd break, the way he's pulling.
Couldn't it be reinforced?
I suppose so. I think you've got something. And it can't be as simple as that, can it? Hot oars full of dope.
I don't know. Who'd want to take an oar to pieces?
Customs boys.
Huh?
If you're right, they'll be cracking every oar inside for months.
That'll make them even more popular than ever, won't it?
He's been taken care of. You want to get after Jordan?
We must.
Then I've got the very thing. There she is.
What is this?
Q-ship, Uncle. We can't follow him in a police launch, now can we? I lay this on just in case.
It doesn't actually go, does it?
Et! You'll not be taking a world cruise in her.
This is our skipper, Captain Mackey. Chief Inspector Birkett and Sergeant Saunders.
Right. Aye. You'll be needing these, I'm thinking.
Water wings is what I'll be needing.
Let me glasses, will you?
Good God, the engine's trying to break out.
Let go forward, let go aft.
Hold on, skipper. Anybody who set sail in a hip bath like this wants his head examined.
Steady, Uncle. He doesn't go for you too much.
All right, don't go for him too much either, or his bloody boat.
That's it. That's just about it.
Now look what you've done. You've hurt his feelings.
Oh, dear God.
Look, she's going.
Well, get after him, he'll get away.
You'll have to apologize, Uncle.
All right, I'm sorry.
I'll not have him on my bridge.
On his what?
His bridge. Now come on, Uncle. Get down aft.
Is this far enough?
Works. The man who switched the oars has gone ashore. My man's keeping an eye on him. He's done his bit.
Could he have been lowered from the Paraslavia?
No, not with all those customs boys about. But someone on board could have slipped a pair of oars into the drink for him to pick up.
So Jordan carries on the good work.
The law's after him.
Bloody fools, who tipped them off?
Not my lot.
Well, they can't nick him now. I want him to take us to the top people.
It's dead clever. Jordan's a natural for this job. He's so well known along the river, they wouldn't stop him if he was flying the skull and crossbones. He's in it, Uncle, up to his neck.
Or maybe they're just using him.
He's putting in.
Just tuck yourself in beside that barge.
Aye.
Marco, we won't be long. Come and have a drink while the wife gets ready.
Whistle up a car and tell him to pick up Jordan. Then comb the place for Brother Hammond. If that's all right with you. He's been pretty careless with those loaded oars. He's put them...
Look.
Tattooed hands. I'll bet he's the bloke that got Dane. Put the super in the picture, will you?
Yes, sir.
Right, off you go, skipper.
Isleworth, it looks as if he's heading for the London Apprentice.
See that?
Tom Teal.
Yeah.
Monday the 21st at 6 o'clock. That's just what it says in the old girl's diary.
Well done, Uncle. We haven't got much time. Look, Jim, get back on the radio for cars. Tell them to come in by the pub and by the church. Tell them let everyone in till we get on that boat. Then nobody out, right? Come on. Both my pretty chicks.
They're on their way.
Good. We've got 2 killers now, that sailor and Hammond Barker.
Plus Rodney Hurter for good measure.
I knew I didn't like him. Come on.
You see, with this kind of dinghy, you can fit an outboard motor. You don't need one of those big ones. The attachment's already there. There's one of our cars.
Put your bloody lights out. Put them out. I'll try and fix this bloke, and then you tell our chaps to move in.
Shove off, mate. This is private property.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is a police raid. The boat's surrounded. So don't let's have any trouble.
It seems we have no alternative. What became of Harrison?
Harrison?
He was on deck, on watch.
Oh, so that was Harrison, your butler. Well, he'll wake up to face a charge of murder, a charge which will implicate you, sir.
Come on.
Come on, Herder. You've only got 1 round left and you're a dead duck.
Come on, Inspector. 1 more like that, and you will be a dead duck.
He's only got one round left. We've got to keep him interested. I'm going to stick this up here. Give me 10 seconds and switch it on, but keep your bloody head down. Give me a leg. You know you can go, don't you?
Did you know all the time? My faith in my brother turned out to be a bloody lie, didn't it? The thing I can't get over is he's using me to carry the stuff that really killed Ursula.
I think Polita's going to need a little help just now, don't you? Well, everything seems to fit. Super's talking to your friend and my friend, Hammond Barker, and we should have a confession in a few minutes.
Confession?
Hammond Barker.
Yeah, not to murder, Sam.
Why not?
Hammond Barker did not kill Ursula Gray.
He must have done. Everything points to it. Found his pen in the garden.
Oh, yes, I know. He was there that night. He went to get the tape back, but he didn't kill Ursula Gray, because when he got there, she was already dead.
That's a fact.
It's a fact.
Right back to square one.
Afraid so. Still, you've done damn well so far. The AC's chatting.
I was thinking, sir, there's not much left in the pack, but we have still got Mr. P. Brown and that built-up picture.
We know Ursula had a date with someone called Phil or Philip on the night she was killed.
It's all over now, Phil.
Excuse me, Mrs. Gray. You told me that your name was Mrs. Edith Gray. Are you also known as Phil?
Yes, Inspector.
So you were with your daughter on the night she was killed?
Yes. Peter. She made me go to see her. She wanted to tell me about you and the Clarence Hotel. She was boasting so much about that afternoon. She went on and on. She wouldn't stop. She was still laughing when I shot her.
Oh, thank you, darling.